We're back with more crazy shit, and these are your stories. The first one is from Tia. Oh boy, where to begin? I've held this back for so long, and I definitely see how it can be healthy for me to let it out. So here we go. This is the place. This all started in 2015. I was a single mom to my 3-year-old daughter. I was 21 and had just gotten out of an abusive relationship mentally, emotionally. I ended it after I found out that during the time I was pregnant, he was cheating on me the whole time. That's nice. I'm giving you the gift of life, and you're giving me the betrayal. I had no clue until 2 years later when I found out and ended it. Everyone in our friends group was new, including my sister Teresa, and nobody told me. Not one person. I found out due to my sister wanting me to have her back during an argument with her then boyfriend Walter and ex-girlfriend Denise. I messaged Denise like Teresa asked and kindly asked her to please leave my sister alone, and there was no need for her to attack her and Walter's relationship. I can't remember what all the drama was about. All I remember is Denise responding with detailed information about my boyfriend slash baby dad, his wiener size, and certain body features he had. And in my head, I was like, how does she know that? Because it was all true. Wait, sister's then boyfriend has some beef with his ex-girlfriend. So you message the ex-girlfriend and she knows all about your man's. What a whirlwind. I then responded how she had the information, and that's when she told me that she was one of the girls. He was cheating on me along with her best friend and the foursomes they would have during my pregnancy. Through 2012. I confronted Dustin and he cried and denied it. I then went to my best friend at the time, Kathleen, and found out that she knew all along? Oh, that's not a best friend. I was hurt and then went to my sister. Oh my God, and found out that she also knew. I'll be damned. I cut everyone out of my life at that point as they were never true friends or a true sister. So I was then a single mom, and in December of 2015, I met a guy named Tim, 26. He swept me off my feet and made me feel like I was the only girl in the world. He seemed very loving and caring towards my daughter as well. A few months into our relationship, I moved into his house with my daughter and everything seemed great. He would tell everyone and myself we were going to be engaged very soon. But then about 6 months into living with each other, he started acting weird and distant. I didn't know what was going on. I then found out he had just told his parents we were living together, and they were extremely disappointed because we were living in sin. Side note, his parents have a lot of influence over his emotions and decision making. He then said that my daughter and I had to move out. Well then, I was dumbfounded and thought he was joking. He wasn't. He said we aren't married, so we can't keep living together. I had nowhere to go and didn't have much family either. I asked him to give me 3 months to find a new place, and he agreed. And then the next day after speaking to his parents, he said that 3 months is too long, and I had 3 weeks. This is the Seattle area, so it definitely wasn't easy to find a place that fast. But then he goes to say that we can still be together, we just couldn't live together. I was like, yeah, I don't know how that would work after he just pulled all this BS on me and my daughter. I had nowhere else to go but to move into my mom's house, which was not a place I wanted to be with my daughter. It was a very uncomfortable place to live. My mom and I weren't close, and the only way to explain her house is just a lot of chaos and fighting. But I didn't have a choice. So I moved out, and 2 months later, Tim was trying to take me on dates to rekindle our relationship and take it slower. His words. I gave it a chance because I just really didn't know what else to do. I was in a very lost place because between those months, my family and I lost my oldest brother. No. So I honestly just needed the company. Oh, that makes me so sad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, I get teary-eyed. I cry over everything. I'm a very empathetic person, and I just thought of that and losing like my brother or one of my siblings, and I'd be destroyed. Not the point of the story. And the night of my brother's funeral, I got really drunk and I slept with Tim. And the next month I found out I was pregnant. Oh God, if you didn't sin before, you definitely have sinned now, Tim. Hold on. Tim couldn't live with you because it was sin, but he can have sex with you and get you pregnant? Is that not a sin? How is living together a sin? Anyways, I'm not going to try to understand that. It's not my business. I told him and he thought it was best for us to move back in together. I was hesitant, but I thought it wouldn't be bad this time since we were having a child together. So after a few months of living together again, he finally tells his parents that I was pregnant. And no surprise, they were disappointed, but advised him that we should now probably marry. He didn't like that idea, nor did I, because at that time we still had a lot to work on from the damage that was done the year prior. Then, when I was around 6 months into my pregnancy, I found out he still hadn't told his parents we were living with each other again. Oh my God. I thought it was ridiculous and thought they already know we are having a baby together, so I don't know how that could make it much worse. So he told them and then flipped. He got weird and distant again, and then all of a sudden, a month after telling his parents we were living together, he had a ring and proposed to me. This is moving too fast. I have a lot of concerns here. I was shocked, but a mix of emotions, but I said yes. The day after our engagement, he asked if we could get married before the baby was born. I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. I wanted a long engagement to work on our relationship before officially getting married, and that I absolutely did not want to get married when I was a whale. I always dreamed of my wedding day, and being a month out of giving birth just wasn't it. Totally understandable. He then got upset and threatened me that if we didn't get married, I'd have to move back to my mom's. Oh my God, I couldn't say goodbye fast enough, honestly. I was devastated that he would do all of this to me all over again. I felt literally trapped. If I didn't marry him, I'd have to move my daughter out again and be stuck at my mom's with my daughter and a newborn. I felt like I had no other choice but to marry him. No, I understand. That would be a hard position. So we planned to elope. I had to rush to find a white dress to fit me and to try to make it somewhat special for myself. The morning of September 22nd, 2016, I woke up to my stomach in knots. I left to go get my hair and makeup at the salon. As I walked out of the car, I stepped in dog poo. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Oh, I'm glad you said it, because that's what I was thinking. I had to drive an hour to the location, smelling dog poo the whole morning. We then met at the location and I put on a fake smile for everyone. My daughter, Tim, his parents. I was crying on the inside. It was honestly the worst day of my life. Oh, I want to hug you. We went on to have our son and I just focused on being a mom and giving my kids everything I possibly could. I was a stay-at-home mom and did everything for him and the kids. Years into our relationship, we got along, but I always felt something was off. I slowly started to find out he had an addiction to corn. We have to say the word corn, but it means adult video, okay? So when I say corn, you know what I'm saying. And I tried being patient while he struggled with it, even though it hurt me. And I never felt like I was enough, especially because he would never touch me. I would always try, but he never wanted me intimately. Due to this, I gained weight and I was constantly depressed. He also would isolate me from family and friends throughout the years. I would make plans and then he would tell me I had to change my plans because he already had plans with his friends and with his military unit. I didn't know at the time, but he was isolating me and cutting everyone out of my life where I couldn't have anyone to talk to. Though during those years, I started having a relationship with my sister Teresa again. We were becoming close and my mom and I started getting along, so they really were the only people I had. Okay, well that makes me at least a little bit happy. One night, he had one of his friends from his unit come over for dinner. His friend made a few comments that made me think there was something going on. He made comments about bikini stands. I knew about bikini stands. They are a place like an espresso stand, except more like mini strip clubs. But if you tip the girls, they will do sexual things to themselves as you watch. Wait, what? Bikini stands? I've never heard of this in my life. Including girls going down on each other and touching each other. We'll say that. It's a very extreme place. Definitely not a place for a married man. Nope. But the way his friend said it and the way Tim's face looked made my gut sink. He changed the topic and his friend eventually left. I asked him if he had ever been to a bikini stand and he said, ew, absolutely not. I would never do that. So I tried to believe him. A few months later, I found out I was pregnant again. Are we not using protection? I'm only saying that because I'm just sad that I don't think you're being treated properly. This time it was 2021, and during the early stages of my pregnancy, he was gone on a deployment, and I kept getting a gut-wrenching feeling to look at his bank statements, so I did. I then discovered he had been to those bikini stands over 50 times. Through the years that we were together. It was starting even in 2015 when we first started dating. And the most recent ones were from the month before he left on his appointment. I was extremely upset and devastated. I ended up calling him, telling him that I found all of it and that I couldn't believe him, and how dare him do that to me, especially never tell me or be honest with me. And here his parents are worried about living with another female in sin. If only you knew what your son was really doing and the amount of sin he was really involved with. At this point, from just years of mental and emotional abuse and neglect, I was done. While he was gone on this deployment, I knew that I was done with him. I wanted to make sure I found out everything. I didn't think it was fair to me to not know what was going on behind my back all these years. I had wasted my time with him. So I went through his bank statements from his other accounts as well. Not only did I see another 50 plus times of bikini stands, but I saw a name on a website I was very familiar with, but not many people know about. This is where it gets even crazier. Backstory: my sister Teresa used to do adult type video / photo shoots for a certain business that not many people would know the name of. It definitely isn't common. It's called Northwest Beauties. Never heard of that myself. When I saw that on his bank statements, my heart fell through my butt, and I knew it had to have been my sister's videos that he was purchasing. You're lying. No. The only way he knew about her doing work for that company was because the first year we were together, she had her W-2. Yes, you get a W-2 for that work. Anyways, she got a W-2 sent to my house because she didn't want our mom to see it. But when Tim saw it come in the mail, he asked what it was. And I embarrassingly told him what Teresa did, not thinking he would ever go searching for it. Now, I didn't agree with my sister doing that sort of work, but I also didn't believe it was my place to judge her for it because it is her life. So when I saw this on his bank statement, it showed that he first purchased a few videos the same month. Her W-2 showed up in 2017, and then the next year it showed up was the year of 2019. I was sure it was my sister's videos, but I didn't have proof. I just really hope you don't find proof, because that's disgusting. I asked him and he denied continuously. He would never tell the truth about anything, so I wasn't surprised. I then had to go to my sister, even though I was mortified, and asked her for help. I gave her the information from the purchase number. She went to her old boss to confirm if they were her videos or someone else's. She also went by a different name on the sites that only he would have known due to me stupidly telling him, but again, never thought he would go looking for my sister. My sister got word back from her old boss, and he emailed over the proof that it was her videos. And again, at this point, I was already done with him for everything he was putting me through. But the sister thing was the cherry on top. The cherry, the sprinkles, the whipped cream, everything. I later found out from some of his old friends that he would actually sit there and show them pictures on the website of my sister, and he was doing this a few months before we got married and 2 years into our marriage. So at that point, it was his own sister-in-law and the aunt to his son. Pretty sick, I know. So sick. When I was going through all of this the first year, I got extremely depressed. Mentally, I had people come check on me for thoughts of ending my life. It got pretty bad, but I gave birth to our little girl and I went through with the divorce, and I knew it would be best for me to leave Washington behind as I never felt like it was home there. I ended up moving to Montana in 2022. I lost all the weight I gained and I've never been happier. I am now engaged to the most loving man and we have an adorable blended family. My 3 kids and his 2 kids. We bought a house together and I'm finally getting to plan the beautiful wedding that I always dreamed of. I'd love to tell everyone to always trust your gut and never give up on yourself and your happiness. Girlfriend, I was not prepared for what was to come within that story. I am so happy you're out of that. Thank God for that. I have some thoughts about Tim, but I'm going to keep those to myself because they're not very pleasant if I'm being honest. So, happy for your happy ending. Before we get into the next one, I need a sip of water after that. Because, damn, I was not prepared. Nothing could have prepared me for that. Grab your beverage of choice. I just got some plain old water. Drink your water. A sip, anything. Cheers. The next story is coming from Stephanie. I never thought there would be any drama surrounding my wedding, but there was. I lost track of who I've already granted to, but it's blown my mind so much that I must tell more people. I love that I am one of them. I, female 27, got married on October 12th, 2024 to my amour, M, 32. Originally, I planned on eloping with my hubby, just have the officiant, professional photographer, and my sister with her hubby and kids. Well, word got out that we were finally getting married after 8 years. Everyone had an opinion on where and how our wedding should be. Nearly everyone also offered to help pay for the wedding in order for us to be able to afford a party. Once I started telling my family how I would like my party to go, I thought a Halloween costume party would be awesome/fun. Suddenly, they didn't want to financially support us having a party. That sounds like so much fun. Are you kidding? I will throw you the party. So, original eloping, it would stay. Or so I thought. Maybe I'm oblivious, but I didn't expect so many people to offer to support us. And the idea of a party, or at least a close family private ceremony, seemed like a nicer option. My hubby said he wanted to make the final decision as he wanted me to be happy, and that as long as he got to marry me, he would be happy. So I decided on the private ceremony with close family and a dinner at a fancy restaurant. Sounds lovely. If we still felt like partying after, we planned on going to my sister's house for a bonfire, dancing, and desserts. But after many arguments with my father, we argued because he was all for buying me any dress I wanted, but neglected to tell me until I start dress shopping that he would only buy my dress if I had a party, since buying a real wedding dress for a simple ceremony would be a waste. We decided to go with a small party at my parents' after the private ceremony and photo shoot. Our ceremony was on private property, so there was a very limited amount of people that could attend. Basically, all were immediate family members, 24 guests. Here's where some drama starts. One of the guests was my godmother, my Nina. For some reason, she was offended that her sons and daughter-in-law weren't originally thought of when making the list for the ceremony invites. I wanted her to be happy, so I squeezed them in. She also has a daughter the same age as my sister. Not sure why she didn't fuss about her coming to the ceremony. Let's call my cousin Tur. I don't know if that word got cut off, but we're sticking with Tur. A little backstory. Sorry it's getting long, but you did say this was for me to rant. Yes, I did, and I meant it. My sister and I are 2 years apart and grew up as twins. It was just easier for my mom, the way that we would fight over things. I'm the oldest. My Nina, my godmother, has for the most part always been a single mother, so whenever she had to work, Ter would stay with us. Should I say Ter? Like Terry? Ter. Ter didn't get any siblings until she was around 10, so she grew up spoiled, would scream and cry if she didn't get her way, and always demanded she be dropped off at our house so she wouldn't be alone. We loved it at first, but over time we felt that she was being forced on us. There are 5 of us sisters in total, so we didn't really need/want another sister. We're Mexican. Big families, LOL. As we got older, we just didn't get along with Tara anymore, and now we still don't. My youngest sis had her, quinceanera? I've heard of this. Quinceanera 2 weeks before my wedding, and my cousin avoided me and my close sister. No hi, or even a glance. This was because we had an argument over text 3 weeks prior. I found her actions rude and unnecessary as our argument wasn't over anything serious. My sister wanted her sweater back and my cousin was being difficult about it. I called her out for it. She told me to shut up and mind my business as my sister was grown. I told her no and that she's a crappy person and that I do what I want when I want. Apparently other family members reached out to Tara privately since the fight happened in the family group text to tell her to calm down and just comply with returning the sweater. Tara hasn't responded to the group chat since. Now back to the wedding. Since we weren't on speaking terms and she always seemed annoyed with my presence in general, even before the argument, I decided she wouldn't be invited to the ceremony or party. My hubby has felt the same way about her demeanor with him, so he was happy that she wasn't invited. My mother warned me my decision would cause drama, and it sure did. Tara didn't catch wind about the wedding until Monday. The wedding was on Saturday. She congratulated me and asked for my wedding registry. I thanked her and told her that a gift from her wasn't necessary as she wasn't invited. I basically explained what I wrote about regarding the fight and my feelings about her demeanor towards me and my hubby in more detail. But I said hopefully our relationship could improve after the wedding and that I don't have any animosity towards her. I was just uncomfortable inviting someone who clearly didn't want to speak or look at me. No text back from her after I sent that. Tuesdays, my mother in tears informs me that my Nina is distraught that her daughter is being bullied and excluded from a family event. Apparently, I was wrong and cruel since everyone else would be attending, which they weren't. I didn't invite many others for various reasons. I showed my mom what I texted Tara and then she understood my side. Wednesday, my Nina texts me that she will not be able to attend my ceremony or party and that I would have to pay for the officiant myself once the ceremony ends. $300 that I did not budget for because she begged and offered to help me financially in some way with the wedding months ago. That bill would now fall on me. I texted back asking if she was truly going to back on her word in regards to paying the officiant. I was left to read. Thursday, my mother, again in tears, says, "I told you so," and how wrong I am. I understand Tara is her only daughter, and I don't attend if Tara feels she needs her to emotionally support her that day, but to go back on the deal 3 days before the wedding was uncalled for in my opinion. Again, my mom saw my side after I explained that. She didn't know that Nina was backing out on paying what she had promised. My mom then had a talk with my Nina. By Friday morning, I had an apology text from both Tara and my Nina. I accepted my cousin's apology as a sign of good faith to our relationship. I invited her to dress her best and attend my party. My Nina's apology was in summary, "Hey, sorry for how I acted. I'll be at the ceremony and I'll pay at the end." I wrote her a very long paragraph about how disappointed in her I was for causing me unnecessary stress and that as my elder, she should have more honor and control over her emotions. At least enough control to have a serious adult conversation. I also told her that she should let her adult daughter fight her own fights. Oh, and because I needed support with the officiant's fee, my aunt stepped up to pay, winning her my Nina's seat. I told my Nina her chair was no longer available and her money was no longer needed, but that she was welcome to join her daughter at the party. Oh no. Both my Nina and Tara didn't end up showing up. All the drama for what? Her poor son, I love him, came to the party late with his lovely girlfriend, looking exhausted because they had berated him for hours beforehand for attending my party. In the end, Tara acted the way I expected her to, so I gave her our usual side hugs and don't really interact. Nothing new. My Nina, on the other hand, I've unfriended her on Facebook. That offended her, and I no longer consider her my Nina. She's just my aunt who likes to gossip about everyone and remains a perpetual emotional victim. I'm enjoying the married life, hoping my hubby gets a raise so we can afford a baby comfortably without having to give up our pets. We have, oh my God, we have 6 cats, 6 dogs, which one is a foster, 4 reptiles, and typically a dozen foster cats at a time. 12? Whoa. That's a lot of animals. Jim Carrey. Oh my God. It's on the tip of the tongue. I could Google it. I'm not weak. Ace Ventura. If there's anything I've learned from people's wedding drama stories, it's how much part of me doesn't want to plan a wedding. I'm so excited for when that day comes for me, but I'm like, is it really that bad? Like, why are people losing friendships and family members over a wedding? It's their day, their decisions, none of your business. Show up and celebrate their love. I don't get it. All right, the next story is coming from Lori. I have a horrible date story that happened to me back in college in the late 90s. I love me some good bad date stories. Buckle up because it's kind of long and wild. We are buckled. One Saturday during my freshman year, I was studying in our living room looking super amazing. And by amazing, I mean, unshowered, makeup free, sporting a bit of acne, and in my big glasses and dirty sweats. Honestly, that's when I feel my best. When some guy came to our door selling some kind of discount card. This was a thing back in the day where you could just buy this card and you could use it at various stores and restaurants and get discounts. I politely told him that I'm not interested, but he convinced me to put my info down on his chart so that he can get credit for his work or something. Later that day, I get a call as my roommate and I are about to head out the door. This is pre-cell phone days when we just had a landline in the apartment. My roommate answered and handed me the phone. It was the guy from that morning. He told me he thought I was cute and wanted to ask me out sometime. Little sneaky guy just wanted to get your number. Shocked, it didn't even cover my emotions at the time. We were in a hurry, so I fumbled my way through the rest of our short conversation and agreed that he could call me later. My roommate asked me about the call afterwards and said that he sounded like a guy that had been calling asking for me for the last week. I told her that was impossible because I only met him that morning. A few evenings later, he called me when I was home alone, asking if I wanted to come over to his place and hang out and watch a movie. I felt a little bit uncomfortable about it, but didn't have any reason to say no, so I agreed and went over. Worst decision ever. I got to his place and he was the only one there. It was a basement apartment in some neighborhood. I only got scared because I'm like, when I think basement, I think serial killer. And I live in a basement apartment in my hometown. So what does that say about me? That's hilarious. Matt and I's place is literally like a lower unit. Apparently we're no better. We started watching a movie and he started getting all touchy-feely really fast. At one point, about halfway through the movie, he tried to kiss me. I turned my head, so he just got my cheek. I didn't really know anything about this guy and he was acting weird, so I told him that I didn't kiss on the first date. He said that was fine and that he'd wait until date number 7. For the rest of the movie, he put his arm around my shoulders and every so often would tap his fingers on my mouth and say, date number 7. Ew. I should have just noped it out of there right then and there. But I was panicky, deer in headlights. Oh my God, what do I do? Frozen. I sat and endured what felt like the longest movie ever. Emma Thompson's Sense and Sensibility, if you're wondering. When it was over, I finally got the courage to leave and just got out of there as quickly and politely as I could. Date number 7, let alone date number 2, was never going to happen. My sister was sitting on the couch by the door and asked me in a worried voice where I'd been. I briefly told her where I'd been and went back to my room because I still needed to process what had happened. When I got there, my other roommate was there and she also asked me where I'd been and that she was worried about me. She had a bad feeling that I was in a bad situation and had been praying for me because she was so worried. Bless her heart. That's when the gravity of the situation I'd just been in really hit me. The next time he called, I obviously turned him down. He then proceeded to call and leave creepy messages, like whispering, please, into the phone, or call and not say anything. My roommates and I were a bit freaked out. We ended up buying a caller ID device and paying for that service. It was brand new technology back then, so that if the calls escalated, we would have proof that we could give to the police. Smart thinking. It turned out that he actually was the one that had been calling me for a week before I met him, and that he had been stalking me and a few other girls in our complex. He ended up being arrested later for flashing people, including the girls in the apartment just below us on the ground floor. It's been almost 30 years, and to this day I refuse to watch the movie that I watched with him. If anything more serious had happened, no one would have ever known where I'd gone or what had happened. I feel like I had a guardian angel protecting me that night. Y'all, if you're ever uncomfortable and creeped out by someone, just say no and get away from them ASAP. Don't care about hurting their feelings because they certainly don't care about hurting yours. Yes, and for a first date, let's not go to a stranger's house. They might be a normal person, but you know what? We gotta find that out first before we trust them, okay? Yeah, we meet in public, lots of people, daytime. We gotta feel out, trust no one, ever. I'm very glad that you're safe. All right, and last but not least, this person wants to be anonymous. I work with a group of women, and in the dead center is this girl we'll call Barbie. Well, Barbie is only 30-something and has declared that she's the mayor of this town. She's a completely manipulating person. She's talked about everyone behind their back. Well, one of the girls broke up with her ex, who I was friends with, and he asked me to attend an awards ceremony that he was being presented with, so I went. Purely professional. Not even remotely my type. So this girl got angry and they didn't invite me to the huge Christmas party that Barbie threw that almost everyone went to, and I saw the pictures online and freaked out. I am deeply hurt and I've had enough. I love my job, but this mean girl group within the list of employees is too much. Barbie and most of that core group have been investigated before. She took compromising pictures of a colleague and then threatened to release it to everyone, and the company said they handled it. Yet Barbie is still here. That's insane. One of the girls is actually a really dramatic, effeminate guy that is extremely snarky, insecure, hates us older folks, 50s, and loves to humiliate us in front of everyone. I love my job, but I always told myself if I start having anxiety going to work, it's time to leave. I'm eligible for retirement and I'm thinking of wiping out the office score of mean girls led by Barbie with me. I have enough crap on all of them to file a bullying complaint and have them terminated and then walk out and wave bye-bye to the people left behind and freed from the Wicked Witch, Barbie and her flying monkeys. Will I do that? Or should I stay put at the job I love and live my best life and let them hang themselves, which they will at some point? I adore you. You've helped. Oh, okay, I'll cry. I'll cry. Don't be nice to me. No one can be nice to me because I cry. I adore you. You have helped me through some stuff you'll never even know. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Your light shines brighter than most stars. Love you, girl. Look at me. I can't handle anything. I mean, that whole picture thing, all that's going off is that not illegal? And that's called revenge porn with a P. I'm with you on the second a job brings you anxiety and like you're unhappy, it's time to go. I do think people like that need to be held accountable. But it's not my life, and I understand that you love your job. We need money in this world. You're close to retirement. I don't know. Everyone, let me know your opinion on this one in the comments. And I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. And I'll see you tomorrow.